crack the interview, or we need these additional technologies for now? And how it will be, how difficult it will be to learn new technologies, as we already SQL DBA, how it will be useful or how it will be difficult to learn this?
Sure, sure. So, yeah, okay. So, talking about difficulty to learn, if you learn SQL Server, so nothing is difficult, right? So I feel like SQL is difficult and kind of version that you jump in already. So nothing would be difficult if you want to learn any cloud technologies. Not any. So as far as I know, so I know only Azure. So if you go with Azure, so that is not difficult, right? So you can learn Azure if you know SQL Server, right? Most everything, suppose if you go with SQL DB, managed instance, so SQL IaaS, infrastructure as a service, right? Whatever you go in these wings, right? So everything would be similar, right? Basic concept will be your if you're strong in SQL Server, then these are just so nothing cakewalk, right? So you can learn easily. That nothing so difficult, because whatever you do in cloud, so Azure, so everything will be your SQL Server, right? Where especially when you go with PaaS flavors, right? PaaS platform as a service, right? We have two wings, right? So SQL DB and managed instance. So these two are just
Yes.
Microsoft will manage, right? So you will just so have your database so your database deployed into those environment Azure, right? So you will not do much into that, right? So SQL is difficult, and if you know SQL Server and if you are strong in SQL Server, then those are pretty easy, right? Only thing you'll have time to learn. And second point you ask, like, so would it be required to learn? So there will be an advantage if you know any of the cloud, but that is not a requirement, right? So if you know, so if you ask me, so I'm doing from past 10 years, right? I'm doing only SQL database, right? So SQL on-prem, right? So I have not much exposure into cloud. I know, but I have not worked much into a cloud environment, right? So I know, so most of the things are on-prem SQL. So you no need
Yeah.
to have any cloud technology to crack the interview. But if you have that, that will be an added advantage, but that is not prerequisite or requirement. So if you know SQL Server, that would be sufficient, more than sufficient.
Hi Chandu.
Okay. Yeah.
Chandu,
Thank
if the interview asks the
you.
question means
Thank you.
if I don't know the answer means how we should be managed if I don't know the answer.
They don't know.
So,
Yes.
simply
They don't know, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, so
don't.
yeah, if you don't know something, that's a waste of time, right? If you don't know, if you think 10 times, or if you think 10 minutes, you will not have answer, right? So
Yes,
if you
yes.
don't know, tell that I don't know. So so I don't know, and I have not. So if you want to in a convinced manner, whatever convincing, so the end answer would be don't know, right? So you can just mention that I don't know, like I have not worked on, I don't know, I couldn't recollect, or I don't know. You can mention that I don't know. That is absolutely okay. So I would say, like, so I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you want to say that I'm not exactly sure, I'm not sure, I don't know, I have not came across, I don't know, like, so you can. But if you know so basics, right? So at least you just you will try to answer. But if it is practical questions and if you don't know, so obviously you cannot tell much.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah, hi sir. It's an Nagaraj. If person comes to interview, so normally, and no, how you take into like based on his experience and how you pick the questions based on his resume. Is there any standard format to ask questions?
Okay, so different interviews will have different perspective and different way of taking interviews. But most of us, right? So when you talk about Microsoft or so the environment, so most of us we okay, we look into that resume and will so understand his candid exposure and experience. But first thing that we start with, so your strongest areas, right? So which areas you are good at, right? So that we will ask questions from there. Suppose if you say I'm good at installation, then I'll start with installation. If you're good at replication, then I'll start with replication by from basics, and we'll go into internals, deep, so troubleshooting and all. So that is the reason, if you are strong in one area, just tell one area. Or if you're strong, I mean, one area is very way to answer, but if you give around 3-4 areas that you are strong in, so we will ask. So basically, if you ask me, so I ask, first question is like, what is your strongest areas, and we'll note down around 3-4 strongest areas, not only one. 3-4 strongest areas, and if they give those topics, so that I will start asking, right? So my strongest area is this and all. But don't consider this for all the interviews. I don't know others, like others, as far as I understand, they don't ask strongest areas in different organizations I'm talking about. So they will check your resume and they will start asking, so from your resume, right? So if you put something in your resume, make sure that you are aware of those points and you are mentioning in the resume. That is important.
Okay.
Hi, Chandu.
Mostly,
This side, Mukesh. I have only one question. Certification is required for giving any interview like that.
I don't have
As a
certification
DBA.
till now. Yep, I don't have certifications till now.
It is not
So
required.
certification, again, like, so it is same as Azure, I told you before, right? So certification will have an added advantage. For example, let's take an example. You have a certification, right? So if you have a certification, the so you will have more, what I call, right? So more like, I couldn't recall. So you will have more, so they will start asking more questions, because so expectations would be more, so that you will have to answer those questions. If you cannot, so then there's no point of, so having certification, right? So I would say, like, so technical expertise or technical experience is much important than certification. But if you have certification, definitely it will be an added advantage. Again, so added advantage if you know the subject. So because if you have certification and if you cannot answer a simple question, then there is no point of having certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
so if we want to know, if we want to get interview calls like Microsoft, and we need to get, we need to search in Google, or directly we have to apply in portal.
Naukri, and if you have LinkedIn, maybe that is better than Naukri. But if you have LinkedIn, that would be better, because everyone will be, nowadays everyone will be posting in LinkedIn only, right? So we have requirement, so kind of uh, postings they are posting. So I would say, I personally, I saw that, so many uh, many people got interview, or so cracked interview through LinkedIn, which they have received or which they have got a post from. Just create LinkedIn account, and so add or whatever DBA hash, SQL DBA hash, SQL jobs. So those are the keywords you can add, follow, so that they will post the interview jobs. But Naukri, LinkedIn would be sufficient. If you don't have LinkedIn, Naukri would be sufficient. Of course, like if you just directly upload your resume in portal, so they will might be check. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Chintu, Raja here. After completing the technical interview, they're asking, do you have any questions? So that we can ask any questions like project and team size and other things. Is this a good way or bad way?
No, it is obviously a good way. So one way of asking question is, so any improvement that I should, so improve, like any areas that I should improve. Suppose if he is friendly, so that you can ask that. So it is not straight away that you are asking a feedback from the interviewer, but you can ask that. So any areas that I should improve, or any. So do you think that any areas that I should improve, or so if he is good, then you can ask, right, what is the project and what is the location, what is the whatever questions you have. But sometimes you will understand that, suppose if you are not good, right, suppose if he's not answering, so then you can just so don't lag, so just disconnect from then and there, right? Sometimes like interviewer will not be interested to answer your question, then okay, say okay, thank you, and I don't have any more questions. But yeah, that is good way of asking. Like if you have any questions, definitely you should ask.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Don't ask feedback, don't ask salary, don't ask any so those such questions. If you
Yes,
if you
yes.
are interested, just ask, like so any areas that I should improve, or any what is the work that I should do, uh, so what is the team, what is the project that you can ask. You can ask either uh, do we have any cloud environment as well, or only on-prem, or sometimes so even that question might uh, impact your interview. So but yeah, based on the interview how it went, so you can ask like whether do we have support for any cloud environments or on-prem.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chandu, we should go with 100% knowledge or 60-70% knowledge enough, 30% conviction is enough, or should go with 100%. What they will look, what you will look in us.
100% in what?
100% knowledge
Complete
should be there.
SQL server. So complete SQL server, even I don't know, right? So
Yes,
complete SQL server, no one knows that. As I told you that before, no one knows everything, right? So you should have a basic understanding of few areas, and if you're good at few areas, then it would be good, right? So if interviewer asks you a question, and if you don't know, that is okay. So tell that I don't know, I have not worked on much on this, so I'm good in so these areas. Can you ask these questions? Can you ask questions on these areas, right? So if you good in a specific area, I would say like you should have a better understanding on these areas. For example, let's say I know high availability. So I'm good in always on. So if you're good in always on, you should know at least 70% or 60% in always on. Like if you have any troubleshooting, you should understand that how to troubleshoot any SQL, any issues related to always on or availability groups. Mirroring,
yes.
right? If mirroring is disconnected, like what you will do, like so if you tell any specific area, you should know in so at least 70%. If you don't
In that
know,
area, we should be almost 78%. In that area, should be strong, 70-80%.
correct, because you're telling something, right, to ask interviewer,
Yes,
and
yes.
if you cannot even answer basic questions, then there is no point of telling that so I'm good in these areas, right? If you
Yes,
say
exactly.
you are good in these areas, then you should be good.
Yes, yes. So,
Yes, guys, any questions, any doubts? Anything you want to listen from Chandu?
Yeah, any even technical questions, I'm okay.
If you have any
yes, sir.
technical questions also, you can ask him.
Hmm.
See,
Okay.
so if you come to interview, like you concentrate more on normal interview questions, like troubleshooting, you'll ask more. Like last time,
Theory
attended
or
one interview.
troubleshooting, right?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, theory or troubleshooting.
So theory or troubleshooting. So so we start with basics, so basic understanding of theory, right? So theory will understand, right, whether you are at least understanding the basics or not, right? So if you are good in theory, then it is okay. If you are not good in theory, that is also okay. So if you are not good, then we will jump into the troubleshooting, right? So at least we need to understand whether if you are not in good in theory, so we will check that whether you are good in troubleshooting skills or not, right? So if you're good in theoretical and troubleshooting is not good, but that is also, so there is no point of having a theoretical knowledge if you don't know troubleshooting skills, right? So we basically need both together. But even though if you don't know theory, that is okay. You should know practical, right? So practical
Oh,
is more important, because let's say, for example, you joined in an organization and where installation is failing, right? If installation is failing, I'm talking about installation because that is just simple task, simple, so point to consider. You can consider anything, right? So if you are if you're troubleshooting and if you cannot, so installation is failing. If you know theory, there is no point of having theory, right? You cannot troubleshoot installation failure, then there is no use of that. And so, and at the same time, for example, uh, let's say for example, some disk is full, and if the
Log file
disk
is
is
full.
full, yeah, anything like log file or data file, whatever the file, so your disk is full and your checkpoint is not happening, and you see the SQL error log, so checkpoint is failing, whatever it is, right? So if you don't know how that works, right? So if you don't know how that works, you don't know how to troubleshoot, right? So that is also is that is a rare condition or rare case, but you'll have to understand uh, basic basics as well, and good troubleshooting skills. That is the reason I
okay.
always recommend to open your laptop and do some practicals, whatever it is. Either create a login, just create 100 times so that you will understand that what login is like, how to create. So what is that authentication, and so you will have a basic understanding of logins, adding users to the adding users, and so delete login and make it orphan. So fix it. You will understand that way.
Okay, my personal experience, my personal last time to ask regarding like he asked me what is the deadlock and how you troubleshoot. So I tell him about the deadlock, and I said we enable trace logs and to find out all the things. She asked me, how you troubleshoot. I could not able to answer that troubleshoot. Only we can able to enable trace logs, right? Apart from that, what we can do to avoid deadlocks.
So what is the point of enabling trace flags? So
So
what you will do by enabling trace flags?
we'll find out deadlocks, right?
Hmm.
To
Correct.
enable the
So
deadlock, we have to do a dvcc command by the dvcc command trace on and bracket in bracket give the 1 2 2 2 minus 1.
hmm.
Then
What is for minus one?
if minus, I know only basic. I don't.
No,
Minus
no, no,
one.
I
Ask,
understand. So DBCC trace on you mentioned, right? DBCC trace on and 1 2 2 comma minus one.
yeah,
Yes.
one
What is
triple
that?
two, sir.
What is
Not
that minus
minus
one?
one, not minus one. Only 1 triple two is a
Hmm.
1 triple two is a trace log for a deadlock.
Okay, that's fine. So 1 2 2 2, so you enable. So what you will get? So after enabling that, you will have that information in the SQL Server error logs, right? So that
Yes.
information will be printed. So you will see that in the SQL error log, you will see that deadlock owner and deadlock victim, right? So deadlock victim is the one which is been killed, right? So the session is killed, we call it as a deadlock victim, and deadlock owner is the one which holds a lock, which so which so takes precedence, right? So then this one, then the one which is victim, right? So you will have to understand what is the queries which are involved in this. So first thing is deadlocks will be resolved on its own, so we don't have a control. But what you can do, so you'll have to gather the queries and you will have to provide them to application team, that because these two queries are running parallelly, because of this we see the deadlocks and see if you can tune this query or if you can fix this query, or if that is not that cannot be done, so you have some other areas, right? You have some other workarounds, like for example, if the query is running slow, you'll have to understand that if the query is running slow because of some performance issues, of that query, or so you can check that if changing the isolation level to snapshot isolation level, we have something called snapshot isolation level, which doesn't acquire a lock for select statement, right? So if you'll have to check if this can be avoided by acquiring a by changing the snapshot isolation level, or you or application team or developer team may have to check if adding an index would have a better benefit. You will not have so much log, because deadlocks is basically in the back end, it is kind of lock, right? So it will acquire a lock, but for multiple queries or sessions will be acquiring lock and blocking each other, we say deadlocks, right? So in a simple words, so you will have to understand based on the deadlock graph which is printed into the SQL error log. That is the reason we enable 122.1204, right? So that we will be printed into the SQL error log, and that information we will get from the error log, and you will have to share that queries to the application team. So application team, basically they will verify what needs to be done, or they can run this serially one after another, right? So instead of running both at the same time, so they will run one after another, right? So serially. So there are different ways to investigate and troubleshoot.
Okay.
So that is just a high level, like so you'll have to understand in better way. But yeah, that is just a high level.
Yeah, he asked me almost 3 to 5 times the same thing last
Mm,
time here.
mm.
Uh, in your company, Chandu, in your company, are you for making a report like or real-time report? You are using any tool like Power BI, SIS, or SRS? It is required for knowledge.
What do you mean? Reports for?
In SQL Server, we are making a report on daily basis or weekly basis only. So
Mhm.
some company are using a tool like making a report, Power BI and SIS, SRS
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
So it is required or not? Only basic knowledge required or
No, so
real
if you
time?
again, like so if you have any additional technology, that will be an added advantage, but that is not even not necessary to so become a SQL DBA, right? So if you have any other technology, SSRS, SSAS, or Power
Yes, yes.
BI or MDS, whatever it is, if you have a basic understanding, that would be sufficient. You no need to have any expertise in any of the so areas, right? So SQL DBA would be sufficient. As I said, like SQL DBA, you should have a understanding, right? So whatever topics so you should have a better understanding in those. You no need to
So
have reporting knowledge.
okay.
Yeah, hi Chandra.
Yep.
The interviewer asking what was the biggest issue you resolved as of now? Can explain any of the two major issues. So in that case, we can explain normal issues or high availability issues or any performance related issues. How we can proceed in that case.
Anything you can consider, any issues, like so biggest issue is nothing but not big issue, right? So big issue is nothing but, like, for example, biggest issue is something kind of so outage that you have worked on. For example, you can consider any areas, like as you mentioned, like performance, high availability, whatever it is, but just simple task. If you ask a simple question, so big issue is nothing but big outage, right? So for example, let's say SQL service is down, it is kind of P1 issue, because if SQL is not available, then application will be down and your entire so business is stopped and revenue loss so much, right? So that is kind of biggest issue, right? So you will have to investigate why SQL is down. So either it is a fail to upgrade a script upgrade mode, or it is in so services failed because of some issue, or master database is corrupted, or whatever system databases are corrupted, whatever it is, that is kind of so big issue that you'll have to check. And second thing, so I'm just so big issue is nothing but you will have to have a performance, or you'll have to have a high availability concept or something. For example, so drive is full, whatever drive it is. If drive is full, database is not accessible, because the database is in either, let's say, consider just so if you want a hint, let's consider that you have a high availability always on configured, or database mirroring configured, and your database data file location, like wherever the disk is full and your database is not accessible, it is a not synchronizing state, right? If the database is not accessible, then that is a big issue, right? So it will be a P1 issue that you'll have to fix it, right? So big issue is not a big area of expertise, right? Any issues that you worked on, it's a critical issue that you fixed or faced.
Right. Okay, guys. Any questions? Any doubts? Any questions? Any other questions? And guys, believe me, Microsoft people are very helpful people, very, very helpful people. They'll always try to select you only. They don't want like other interviewers will always try to filter you. But whereas Microsoft people will always tries to save you, they will give lot of hints even you don't know the answer. They will try to at least they will expect something. Okay, he will tell something. He will tell something. They will keep on giving hints, guys. And guys, there is always openings for Microsoft. 24/7 openings will be there for Microsoft. And I hope yearly 3 times, right, Chandu?
Hmm.
Yearly 3 times they are going to recruit, and you are not okay a permanent employee of Microsoft. Either you have to go with a Harman company or Mindtree. These are the clients for Microsoft, and don't leave any opportunity. If you got a chance, try to attend the interviews. At least you know how much help they are giving. Okay, you know how much help they are giving. Again, don't miss the chances. If you got any calls from Harman or else any calls from Mindtree, just try your side and check it how they are asking, how the interviews and all. And believe me, they are very, very helpful guys. Even though they know you are a fake guy, but still they will look into it whether you are good in basics or not. Very, very good in basics or not. Okay. Again, as
Even
Chandu
even
told,
even we are fake also they will recruit Shanmugh
they
sir.
will recruit. They will recruit. Believe me,
Yeah,
they will
yeah, yeah.
recruit.
Yeah.
Even though they know you are a fake, they'll recruit you, but they will only see that you are strong in those areas or not. At least three, four
Yes, yes,
areas. At least three,
yes,
four
yes,
areas, more
exactly.
than 90% knowledge you should have. Okay. And
Yes.
remaining areas you can manageable knowledge is sufficient. And guys, again, don't leave this opportunity in case if you have a chance, try to attend the Microsoft interview. That is the okay highest level of interview. Okay. 5 rounds will be there, and don't worry about the communication skills and all. You can, I guess you can manage the things. If you can understand the things means you can manage the things. Okay. And sorry, Chandu, any suggestions to my students finally? Any final call?
Mhm. Yeah. So as Shanmugh mentioned, so you keep that Microsoft as a goal, but so I would suggest, so don't consider that. I mean, consider, but yeah, so don't stick to that as a short-term goal, right? So you just consider it as a goal to crack Microsoft interview, or so select into the Microsoft, because in Microsoft, interview is one part, and so after selecting into the organization and work for multiple customers is second part, right? So that is the biggest challenge that you'll have to so face. So that is the reason, just consider that as a goal. But if you so get opportunity anywhere, like even doesn't matter either it is Microsoft or whatever companies you selected, either even a small startup company, just go and so give interview and crack and join, right? So just get an experience. Once you get experience, you can move anywhere, right? It's not a government organization that you are going to select, or
Yes, yes.
uh, so you can go anywhere in your tenure, right? So you don't consider only Microsoft as a company, but yeah, consider even a startup company, right? So any company, any organization, that is okay. Doesn't matter. But yeah, just get an experience so that you will crack Microsoft easily, not an issue.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, again, so even startup companies you will have okay more having hands of experience, hands-on experience, and like you will get lot of things to learn. And again, it's not government organization as Chandu said. Okay, there is no job guarantee even though you selected for Infosys or TCS or any big company. Okay, it's not like that. Even though if you don't perform well, okay, in the Infosys also they will Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned in a positive positive way, like, so if you're a government organization, you will there for 60 years or 50, 80 years, and you will not move anywhere, right? So even if this is not a government organization, even though if they're not firing you from the organization, then you will not stick, right? So wherever you will get more salary, you will go around, right? So that is the reason you will don't consider any company as so as a goal, right? So if you select in Microsoft, and if some other company is giving more, right, doesn't matter whether it is small company or big company, and you will go wherever you will get more, right? So that is what we'll have, but not now, right? So for now, so just consider selecting, it doesn't matter any company, and so whatever salary they give, just go on, and so select.
Chandu, one small
One
question.
final
Chandu.
question. One final question. Okay, this
Ah.
is the final question. Yeah.
Yeah. They will ask, what is the correct answer for why you are going to change from your permanent role in your previous organization, why you are changing to this organization, and if you are a permanent employee, why you are changing. They
Permanent
will ask.
employee, you're permanent
And,
employee?
no,
Or
we are fake. They will ask, you are permanent employee in that previous company. Why you are changing to this company?
okay, if
They
you
will ask.
say you are permanent employee, then what is the point? What is so telling, so you'll have to change, right? So you just mentioned that, so better career opportunity, better career growth, better career aspirations, so whatever it is, so better career growth. Just wanted to explore so my career, that's it. So better career opportunity, better
Even if
opportunity.
you are a permanent also, even if you are permanent
Yes,
also, for career growth, we are going to change. We
yes,
can tell
yes,
that also.
yes. They also know that, so they are also employee, right? So
Yes, yes.
just they ask us just a formality. Even they
Format.
HR also, they will move different company for salary, right? So that is
Yes, yes,
okay.
exactly. Yes, yes.
So you can
Mm.
tell that better career opportunity or growth.
They will
Yeah.
ask for
Yes.
formalities, and again don't tell like for salary, and again
Mm.
don't tell I don't like my environment, it's very complex and I have issues with my team leader, I have an argue with my team leader, that's why I'm moving to another company. Don't use these kind of words, guys. They
So
will
again,
ask
like,
for
so in a
formalities.
manager round, correct.
Mm.
So in manager round, they might ask like, what is good in your previous manager, what is bad in your previous manager and previous teammates and all. Don't ever tell that bad in any, so cost,
Negative
like
shares. You
just,
should only
yeah,
positive.
yeah. Only positive is nothing, but just mention that all good. Like,
Mm.
I don't see any issues, like, so don't tell that
Yeah.
negativity,
Okay.
because
So
they will also think that, so if you go from here, so you will tell negative to a different company, right? So don't ever tell that.
Yes, yes, yes.
okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Chandu. Thanks for your time. Thanks again, and thanks for your suggestions, feedback, everything. And okay, so guys, thank you very much for attending this session. I know it has to be completed by 9, but still you have a lot of patience till 9:30, and just like wonderful support from Chandu. Again, thank you, Chandu, from my whole team.
Thank you, Chandu, for your valuable speech. Thank you, Chandu. Valuable speech.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you, guys. Bye bye.
Yeah. Guys, tomorrow we'll meet
Thank you,
at
Chandu.
7 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, thank you. No problem. We'll meet at 7 o'clock tomorrow and we'll complete always. And okay. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.